Asante sana. Your Excellency, the CEC, who is in charge of this program and who has been pushing this program, is the youngest minister in a county government. Alikuwa waziri na 29. I don't know if your birthday has come or not. Bado. She's 29 years old. She's the one who's run with this program from the beginning, from the time we went to Wawira's kitchen. Before we got into office, I'd like her to come and say something very quickly. Anaitwa Susan Silantoi. Tumpigie makofi.
Good afternoon, everybody. All protocols observed. Good afternoon, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation to come and groundbreak our kitchen. This is part of the 10 that we're doing in the whole county. And in total, we will do 17. So I'd like to also thank the County Assembly for passing this budget for us. We know it is a new budget, and we are grateful that you bought into the vision. But just to say, we are co-workers with God in feeding the future. And so in every meal that we feed, we're directly inputting in the future of our country. So thank you so much for your support, and we look forward to working with you in feeding the future. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Karauri na Elachi, Mheshimiwa Kamande, I think aliongea on your behalf, and I know we are running short of time. We have recognized Mheshimiwa Malala. I'll call you a bit later. But for now, let me make the remarks. Your Excellency, I rarely read speeches. I normally speak from my heart. But the gravity of what we are doing, there are some things I don't want to forget. Thank you. Your Excellency, 60 years ago, at independence, KANU, under the first President Kenyatta, promised every child at least 7 years of education. 45 years ago, President Moi promised to abolish tuition fees for children in the later years of primary school. 20 years ago, President Mwai Kibaki abolished school fees for all primary school children. Since independence, we have done our best as a country to expand opportunity and confer dignity by educating our children. We are here today as Nairobi County to write our own page of history, of that very proud history. We are here to groundbreak the 10th kitchen of Nairobi school feeding program, Dishi na County, the largest feeding program by a city on the continent of Africa, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, a dignified life demands a decent education. That is why we want every single one of our children in school ready to learn. Your Excellency, when I was Senator of Nairobi, some schools had been vandalized during the COVID break. I remember going to 2 schools to donate desks. I went to Raila Educational Center in Kibra, and I went to Gatina Primary in Dagoretti North. When I went to Gatina Primary, and I asked these children, you know, after giving them the desks, what would you like me to do for you? Normally the children will say, we want footballs, we want a school bus. The children all in unison said they wanted food. When a child asks for food, they really need it. As a parent, I was very sad. And that time in 2020, I said, I must do something about it. In the Senate, I drafted the National School Feeding Act, or rather bill. It never saw the light of day. I benchmarked to the US 1965 School Feeding Act. It didn't go far. But I said, if God gives me the chance to become the governor of Nairobi, children will eat food in school. Your Excellency, yesterday we were in Mudangari Primary with Honorable Elachi. We were in Jiru. We were in BD. When you look at the reaction of the children, when you mention food, I think as leaders we need to be very embarrassed. Our children are losing a third of their education when they are told at lunchtime to either go find food and they don't come back to class. They don't come back to school. And when they come back the next day, they can't catch up with what they were taught the day before. Yesterday in Jiru, the chairman of the board of management said, that you have remembered even in Nairobi, we have levels of poverty with people sleeping with empty stomachs. It is not only in semi-arid and arid areas where people are hungry, even here in Nairobi. Your Excellency, mara nyingi, interventions za njaa, interventions on marginalization ignore Nairobi. Because people assume everybody in Nairobi has money. Urban poverty, in many respects, bites harder than poverty in the rural area. Hii ni shamba ya mawe. Kama hauna pesa, you will not eat, you will not have a place to sleep. That is why we have struggled for Nairobi to be included in the marginalization policy. Wale watu wako kwa slums, wale watu wako Mathare, they are doing worse than people in even the arid areas. They are doing much worse. Your Excellency, we've had many stories from children. There was a child who gave a testimonial in Dagoretti South, and I thought they'd have come today, about how they had missed close to a full term just because of school. Today in Dagoretti South, the enrollment rate is 150% because of the feeding program. Your Excellency, this is a problem we must solve together. And for us to do that, because the dreams must be translated, it needs planning, persuasion, and cash, pesa. So we need to do three things to make our dream come true. We need to pay for it, we need to arrange the logistics, and we need to communicate our plan clearly so that every parent in Nairobi understands it and understands their part of it. Firstly, on logistics, Your Excellency, a question came up immediately whether we should have kitchens in every school or fewer central kitchens, each supplying a good number of schools. On reflection, we chose a network of schools, of central kitchens, with a hub and spoke model where one kitchen serves a number of schools around it. So this kitchen, for instance, is not for Roysambu Primary only. It is for all of the public primary schools in Roysambu constituency. And so we have groundbroken in Sarai constituency, Rescos Primary, Makadara, BD Primary, Kasarani, Njiru Primary, Embakasi South, Kwanjenga Primary, Embakasi Central, Kayole 1 Primary, in Dagoretti North, Mudangari Primary, in Kibra, Toi Primary, in Westlands, Farasi Lane, Roraka, Babadogo. The amount of money, because I think there might be, Bishop said they're budgeting 1.2. Already in this budget, what I'm spending is already budgeted for building the kitchens. In the next financial year, naomba wa MCAs wangu, tupitishe so that we build the other 6. The cost to the parent is still high. 70 shillings kwa mzazi Nairobi saa ingine ni ngumu. 60 shillings ni ngumu. I want to thank our partners because the cost of a meal at 45 shillings, the county is paying 25 shillings, SIF is paying 15 shillings, na mzazi analipa shilingi 5 peke yake. 5 bob, kobole. We're using a technology where mtoto anavaa saa, ambapo you can load, you can send them pesa today, you can send for a month, you can send for a week. But even that child who doesn't have that 5 shillings, Your Excellency, we will feed. We will not watch a child not getting food because of 5 shillings or because of 100 shillings. There is no dignity when a child is pulled out of the school, of the lunch line, because they don't have that money. Chakula, njaa ni kitu ya aibu sana. Ni kitu ya aibu, and you have told us that for a long time. Your Excellency, so we're spending 1.2 billion, and we hope, because we are working with the national government, that you will also match that, as you have said before, so that we can expand this program. Your Excellency, there are people who have asked questions. That one, school feeding is not a function of county government. It is true. It is not a function of county government. It is not a function of national government. It's a function of leadership. It is something that you cannot ignore. We cannot see a problem, Your Excellency, and say this is not mine to do. We must put concerted effort, which is why we are giving bursaries to secondary schools, to primary schools, despite that, to colleges, despite that being a national government function. In 10 years of devolution, tulikuwa na governor wa kwanza, tukakuwa na governor wa pili, tukakuwa na NMS, tukakuwa na Kananu. For 10 years, Nairobi County gave bursaries worth 3 billion, and in 6 months, Your Excellency, we have given bursaries worth 1 billion and 25 million ile ya kutoa bursaries. Tumepeana scholarships, and our scholarships ukipata form 1 unaenda form 1, 2, 3 and 4. These children of ours in Nairobi, we cannot shirk our responsibility. And I want to implore my MCAs. Article 189 of the Constitution gives us a framework of partnership between the national government and the county government. We are doing an MOU because the MPs will tell you, anyone who is sensible will tell you, watoto wa Nairobi wamekosewa. We have 210 schools only for a population of 5 million people. Our children who are not in the public schools are not in expensive private academies. They're in what we call up-bet schools, alternative provision of basic education and training. Unapata shule, Sunday ni kanisa, Monday ni shule, jioni kuna kesha, the next day there is a youth meeting, because we have not given the infrastructure. Successive governments have done bad to the children of Nairobi. We must do something. Your Excellency, sorry. Your Excellency, ni uchungu ya watoto. Thank you. Your Excellency. Your Excellency, this thing must work. There's no other way. It must work. These children deserve the same that your children have and that my children have. And so I thank you because you have supported from the beginning. Whenever there's been resistance, you have called your minister, you have called whoever matters for these children of Nairobi. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Allow me to stop there because I think the point has been made. We are doing 10 kitchens in 10 weeks. This is the only project I have sat with contractors. Nikwambia hii msiweke mchezo. This one don't play around with. And they have understood they're not just building a building. They're giving our children dignity and a hope for the future. So Your Excellency, karibu sana, Roysambu, karibu sana Nairobi. Thank you for supporting me in doing this. We are going to deliver. And one day, vile wanakumbuka maziwa ya Nyayo, watakumbuka chakula ya Ruto. Watakumbuka chakula ya Ruto. Allow me, Your Excellency, now to invite Waziri. And Waziri has been very, very supportive. We have sat down with him. We have agreed on the framework. We have a working group together between us and the national government. I'm grateful for what you've done for us, Waziri. Thank you.